Iodine deficiency can pose a great risk of intellectual disability, infertility, and even miscarriage among women. This is why it's very important to spread awareness on the role of iodine in young people's bodies, especially among women of reproductive age. Now, to talk about that and more, joining us this morning is the Philippine National Coordinator for Iodine Global Network, Dr. Teofilo San Luis Jr. Welcome to the show, Doc Teofilo.
Yes, good morning, Doc.
Morning.
Yes. How do maybe I should just call you Doc T.
Oh.
Doc T,
Thank
you know what? This is a very interesting and helpful topic, and sadly, not a lot of women are aware of this. So can you expound more on how iodine helps prevent various risks, particularly in women's health?
Well, that's a very good topic to start off because, you know, the problem of iodine deficiency is still very, you may say, not well known among women,
yes,
especially of reproductive age.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yes, and that is the reason why it is very essential that we discuss these things, because a woman with a problem of iodine deficiency and manifested particularly by a goiter or a thyroid enlargement, who becomes pregnant, that's a bad combination.
Okay, so it affects the development of the child as well.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
And, you know, that is why Mother Baby Iodine, that is our tagline,
All right.
is an important message for all the women, because they do not realize, many women do not realize,
That they have iodine deficiency?
If they have iodine deficiency and becomes pregnant, the impact is on the child, because the brain development affects the IQ of the baby to lower it by as much as 10 to 15 IQ points.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
How do you check for iodine deficiency, Doc?
Iodine deficiency is checked by, well, usually by neck palpation, kinakapa yung leeg.
Okay, so if there's swelling,
Yeah.
it's a symptom already.
Right.
Okay.
And also quite a few symptoms that would manifest whether this woman is hypothyroidism or hyperthyroidism.
Right.
Whichever is the case. And then, of course, blood testing with TSH and T4. These are the most essential tests or things to do in a woman.
Yeah.
So, Doc, the easiest way to get your iodine fix is through salt, iodized salt, right?
That's
so
correct.
Now the people would want to know, what is the difference between the common table salt and iodized salt? And we were talking about it, Monique, right?
Yeah, I'm also so boggled about this topic, because normally I think Himalayan salt, and I think most people as well, they think that's the healthier version of salt, not iodine salt.
So it's a misconception.
No, it is a very serious misconception, because Himalayan salt does not contain any iodine. You see, salt that is sold in the market, well, right now we have what we call the ASIN law, which mandates that all of the salt that is for human consumption should be iodized. Pero in our, you know, we have a Thyromobile project.
Okay.
And we are going around the country. And we have seen that many of the salt samples that are being submitted to us for testing during our Thyromobile events, as much as 72% of this salt are failing in the threshold. So in other words, only 28% are passing the criteria for adequately iodized salt. And obviously that's not enough.
Right.
So many consumers would say, oh, iodized salt naman ang ginagamit namin. But when we test it, actually, they are poorly iodized. So
what's the process of getting iodized salt, Doc? Do you guys have to add stuff to it, or is it natural?
Right. Yeah, that's correct, Monique. Salt that is sold in the market is usually either produced locally in our salt farms or imported. No? So whichever is the case, whether it's imported or locally produced, they have to be adequate. They have to be iodized. It's a process only. Parang minimix mo lang yung asin at saka yung iodine.
Okay.
No?
Okay.
Minimix lang yon, and then it is sold. But you know, many people do not realize that, okay, kami mix mo nga lang itong mga salt na to, but when it is packed and it is sold in the market, it takes time.
Right.
You know? And many of these salt that are being bought, na nakalagay nga iodized salt, but when it is exposed to heat,
nawawala yung iodine content.
nawawala yung iodine content.
Especially here in the Philippines. So is there a proper way to store it?
Yes, it should be properly stored. Hindi yung nakikita mo, hindi yung see-through.
Okay.
It should be on an opaque, tapos
I
hindi
didn't know that.
naiinitan.
Yes.
Hindi naiinitan because iodine volatilizes.
I
So
see.
it might be okay from the production side, okay. Pero when it is already in the supermarket or in the
doon sila
talipapa,
na-expose sa heat.
na-expose na, naiinitan na,
Right,
or
right.
even sa bahay, kung nakalagay yung asin doon sa ibabaw ng kalan, the heat will really make the iodine vaporize.
Yeah, because I know some people, they store their salt in salt
bottles.
bowls that's not even covered.
Yeah,
like it's just out
true.
in the open.
Yes, to sprinkle on their bread.
So talagang dapat there should be more information to let the people know about the
Right.
about iodized salt.
Yeah.
And this is the most effective, most efficient way by which consumers will get iodine.
So speaking of information, yung parang information drive, earlier this year, President Marcos signed into law the Philippine Salt Industry Development Act, which also revitalizes the older salt law. So, Doc, do you think this is an enough effort to address tong public health issue na ito?
Yes, that would be good because it will increase the salt production. Because right now, to be honest with you, we import 93% of our salt requirements. Of course, hindi naman all for human consumption to.
Right.
Andyan na yung for industrial, andyan na yung chemicals, andyan na yung lahat, you know. But it does pose a big factor on the local salt production. Because importation implies many aspects,
Right.
and basta importante is that
So-
the salt that is for human consumption, consigned to human consumption, must be iodized.
Okay. So we learned a lot today.
I learned so much,
Yes.
Doc, and I can't wait to chat more about this with
Yeah,
you
sure.
later.
Sure.
Thank you so much for joining us, Doc
Okay.
Teofilo. Thank you so
Thank
much.
Okay, thank you very
you.
much too.